Hello everyone, this is Hitesh Mhatre, HOD, Computer Engineering Department of Praveen Patil College of Diploma Engineering and Technology. Today we are going to learn about the relational data model, learning objectives, the fundamentals of relational database management system, that is RDBMS, and the EF code rules for RDBMS. First, fundamentals of RDBMS. The relational data model is the primary data model which is used widely around the world for data storage and processing. This model is simple and it has all the properties and capabilities required to process the data with storage efficiency. Now some terms that are used in RDBMS. Tables. In relational data model, relations are saved in the format of tables. This format stores the relation among the entities. A table has rows and columns, where rows represents the record and the column represents the attributes. Tuple. A single row of a table which contains a single record of that relation is called as a tuple. Record. Records are composed of fields, each of which contains one item of information. A set of records constitutes a file. Fields. Each record consists of several fields. The fields of all the records form the column. Relation schema. A relation schema describes the relation name, that is the table name, attributes and their names. Relation instance. A finite set of tuples in the relational database system represents a relational instance. Relational instance do not have duplicate tuples. Relation key. Each row has one or more attributes known as a relation key, which can identify the row in the relation table uniquely. Attribute domain. Every attribute has some predefined value scope known as the attribute domain. Data types. A database data type refers to the format of data storage that can hold a distinct type or a range of values. Now we come to the EF Codes rule for RDBMS. Dr. Edgar F. Cord, after his extensive research on the relational model of database system, came up with 12 rules of his own which, according to him, a database must obey in order to get regarded as a true relational database. These rules can be applied on any database system that manages stored data using only its relational capabilities. So rule number 1 is the information rule. It states that the data stored in a database, maybe it can be a user data or a metadata, must have some value in a table cell. Everything in a database must be stored in a table format. So this is what the information rule states. Next we have rule number 2, that is guaranteed access rule. Every single data element, that is a value, is guaranteed to be accessible logically with a combination of table name, a primary key which can be a row value, and a attribute name, that is a column value. No other means such as pointers can be used to access a data. So while accessing a data in RDBMS, you can have a combination of table name, row value and a column value. Rule number 3, systematic treatment of null values. The null values in a database must be given a systematic and uniform treatment. There is a very important rule because a null value can be interpreted as one of the following. Now the value can be null because a data is missing, or the data is not known, or the data is not applicable. So these are the one of the three reasons why there can be a null values. Then rule number 4, active online catalog. The structured description of the entire database must be stored in an online catalog known as data dictionary. This dictionary can be accessed by the authorized users. Now, user can use the same query language to access the catalog which they use to access the database itself. Rule number 5, comprehensive data sublanguage rule. It states that a database can only be accessed using a language having a linear syntax that supports data definition, data manipulation, and transaction management operation. So the language which uses this particular operations for data definition, manipulation, and transaction can only be used for accessing the database. This language can be used directly or by some application. Now directly means you are giving directly the commands to the database, or this command can be indirectly given by through some applications. If the database allows the access to data without any help of this language, then it is considered as a violation. So if there is another way from where you are accessing, so that becomes a violation. Rule number 6, view updating rule. All the views of a database which can be theoretically updated must also be updatable in the system, which means when you're seeing the views and you are making some criteria theoretically, so if theoretically you can update, then practically it should be updated in the system as well. Next we have rule number 7, that is high level insert, update and delete rule. A database must support high level of insertion, updation and deletion. So this must not be limited to a single row. So it can also support union, intersection and minus operation to yield the set of data records. So not just a simple insert, update and delete, but also the complex version supporting union, intersection and minus operation should also be allowed. Then we have rule number 8, that is physical data independence. The data that is stored in a database must be independent of the application that accesses the database. We have already seen that in the levels of abstraction. So data must be independent of what the application is. Any change in the physical structure of a database must not have an impact on how the data is accessed by the external application. So if there is any change in the database structure, but this change does not affect the application program, that is the application which is used by the user, so user is unaware of the changes, so this helps in physical data independence. Next we have is the logical data independence, that is rule number 9. The logical data in the database must be independent of its user's view. We have seen this concept of logical data independence. So if the logic has been changed, it should not affect any application. So any change in a logical data must not affect the application that is using it. For example, if two tables are merged into one, or one table is split into two different tables, there should be no impact or change in the user application. Again here user is unaware whether the two tables are merged together or whether a one table is split into two different tables. So since user is unaware of these changes, this gives the logical data independence. Now this is one of the most difficult rule to apply. Rule number 10, integrity independence. A database must be independent of the application that uses it. All its integrity constraints must be independently modified without the need of any change in the application. This rule makes a database independent of the front-end application and its interface. So whatever the constraints or conditions that you have applied into the database, and if you think there should be some changes while upgrading your database, but if this upgradation does not affect your any application, so this makes your database that is integrally independent. Next we have rule number 11, that is the distribution independence. The end user must not be able to see that the data is distributed over various locations. Users should always get the impression that the data is located at one site only. Since users are using this database, they are unaware whether this data which is stored in a single location or it is distributed over a various location. So if this your system allows, then we can say that it is distribution independence. Now this rule is regarded as a foundation for distributed database system. And the final rule, that is rule number 12, is a non-subversion rule, which says that if a system has an interface that provides access to the low-level record, then the interface must not be able to subvert the system or bypass the security and integrity constraint. Which means, like, if there is an interface that allows you to directly access to the database, that is the lower level records, it must not bypass the security and integrity constraint. So this is the rule number 12, that is the non-subversion rule. I hope your concept regarding the relational data model and the EF code rules are clear. So if any queries, you can contact me on the following details. Thank you.